Computer Chronicles is made possible in part by McGraw-Hill, publishers of Byte magazine, and BIX, the Byte Information Exchange. In print and online, Byte and BIX serve computer professionals worldwide with detailed information on new hardware, software, and technologies.
Welcome to the Computer Chronicles. I'm Stewart Cheifet, and with me is George Morrow. George, this is a program called Powerhouse, which runs on an Apple. And what it does is let you control the electrical and electronic appliances throughout your house. You can see icons for the various rooms in your house. You can zoom in on a particular room and actually see the particular appliances in any one room. It kind of turns your home into an intelligent home. We're talking about intelligent buildings today and really looking at commercial buildings and wondering what you think of this notion of making a building, quote, intelligent.
Well, I guess that means putting one or more computers in a building. And I guess when it comes to controlling the communications, it's going to be absolutely essential. But when it comes to controlling the building itself, the lights, the elevators, the doors, I saw it happen in businesses where computers sometimes made prisoners out of the people trying to run the business. So it'll be a rocky road unless there's a lot of flexibility built into these systems as they're put into the buildings themselves.
George, we're going to go to Hong Kong today to take a look at 3 examples of intelligent buildings. We'll see a hotel with computers in every single room. We'll see an office building with centralized computer utilities. And we'll see a computer-designed corporate headquarters building considered to be the most expensive new building in the world. So let's go to Hong Kong.
The famous Peninsula Hotel in Hong Kong has a reputation for the kind of personal attention and comfort associated only with the most luxurious hotels of the world. A part of that refined atmosphere is a large staff to provide such rarefied services as hand-delivered messages. But at the Peninsula's sister hotel across the street, a new kind of intelligent hotel is taking shape using the latest computer technology. At the futuristic Kowloon Hotel, messages are transmitted by a local area network directly to a television monitor in each room. Guests can retrieve their messages at any time by pressing a key on the telecenter's control panel. Messages are entered into the main system as they are received, either at the front desk or at the communications center.
Actually, we are the oldest hotel management company in Asia, but we are the last one to go into computerization. Because we're quite cautious, we want to produce a good system and then introducing the hotel operation to make it one faster and actually one more efficient. For example, we have the famous telecenter, which actually interface the guest message information and the guest folder information, connecting from the computer of the hotel onto the screen that exists in every guest room. On top of it, we have also the telephone system, which again connected the PABX system, the telephone system, with a computer system.
To a new guest, the telecenter acts like a smart TV. It provides personal information, like messages, and the status of your hotel bill. The menu-driven system also features general services like exchange rates and the weather report. If you're new to the area, you can call up a map or find out about tours to China. And business travelers can request a keyboard-equipped telecenter, which then functions as telex and word processor. To provide these services, the Kowloon Hotel has moved away from the conventional mainframe to its own local area network.
It provides us with the advantages of sharing of resources, and then also we have unlimited expandability. Right? We only want to expand the hotel further, adding more facility. Just add an extra nook into the system. There will be no limit on that addition, right? With all the facility built into the system, we can actually having a satellite connection between the hotel in Hong Kong and in other subsidiary hotel in other part of the world.
The Kowloon's advanced computer network is more than just a convenience for guests. The hotel's billing records, guest history, and day-to-day accounting are all recorded online. If a frequent visitor calls to reserve a room, the clerk can review the client's particulars, from room preference and rate to the visitor's special needs, including hobbies. The accounting system bills telephone calls and other charges to your room almost instantaneously. The network approach also extends to the restaurants and room service. Online cash registers will check to see if a guest is still registered before charging a meal. And while you're having lunch, room service is using a computer to refill your minibar. The attendant enters the coded information directly into the telephone keypad, which is linked to the online billing system. Future plans call for the room staff to communicate to the host computer with a remote terminal similar to a cellular telephone. In spite of the hotel's commitment to its computers, the management is not taking any risks. Electronic transactions are still copied onto paper, and some hotel traditions are not about to disappear.
I think the famous Peninsula stand-up service based on the personal service, right? And I do not think that our company have any intention to replace it, a personal service, a waiter with a terminal. We just like to have a computer to improve the personal service, to speed up the efficiency of the operation.
Good morning. This is a wake-up call. Have a very nice day. 早晨，起床時間已到，祝你有愉快的一天。
This computerized wake-up call is one of the nice features of the hotel's intelligent phone system. But the combination of computers and communications is a major aspect of the intelligent office building. In just a minute, we'll take a look at Exchange Square, an intelligent office building here in Hong Kong. When this giant office complex started to go up in 1984, Hong Kong was in the midst of a serious real estate recession. No one was leasing or buying anything. So the owners of this building decided to make it different, to make it stand out above the crowd. They decided to make it an intelligent building.
And at the very moment we acquired the site, so the property market fell away in Hong Kong. It crashed for the same reasons as every property market crashes, same as New York 10 years ago, same as London. But this was exacerbated by the political problems and the future of Hong Kong and the negotiations that were going on with China at that time. So we said to ourselves, how are we going to lease this building? And we came up with the answer that it simply had to be the best.
At first glance, the success of Exchange Square could be due to its favorable location, its magnificent views, or its graceful lines. But hidden within the building's glistening skin are intelligent features that might be the most advanced of any shared-use office building in the world.
The global 24-hour office environment was going to be the secret for Hong Kong, for New York, London, Hong Kong and Tokyo, the four financial centers of the world. This is where it was at, providing the 24-hour ability for a company to come in, to operate on all those markets, because just as we go home, of course, the London market is opening.
Exchange Square is the home of Hong Kong's new unified stock exchange, an amalgam of 4 different exchanges into one highly computerized operation. The orderly trading floor is a sharp contrast to the noise and chaos associated with most exchange centers. Traders sit at banks of computer terminals around a central LED screen. About the loudest noise on the floor is the constant ringing of telephones. Remote terminals provide brokers with instantaneous trading information in English or Chinese. When the Hong Kong exchange is closed, they can trade in other markets around the world, day or night. Along with 24-hour access to global stock markets, new tenants of Exchange Square share electronic plumbing. The computer center provides each office with voice and data communications, word processing, and financial database software, and a message switch to link the services together.
The idea of sharing a common exchange seemed to be a good idea. And then, having thought of this, well, why don't we share other resources which are quite expensive if you want a large number of facilities which the average small tenant could not afford.
Electronic plumbing makes Exchange Square more attractive to tenants and more expensive to build. But the architect sees no conflict between design and function.
No, I think in many ways it probably helps to justify the other elements that one would like to incorporate. Technology as such and the means to it are getting smaller and smaller. Wires, you don't even need wires sometimes anymore. You can't see it, it's all hidden unless you make a feature out of it. It's like an invisible network that surrounds you that doesn't really affect the aesthetics or the more traditional appearance of the buildings.
While not all tenants use the shared resources, most companies have found them worthwhile, much to the relief and joy of the building's owners.
We're delighted the way that's gone because, of course, no one had ever heard of shared resources before Exchange Square came on the map. And at this moment, we've got 52% of the tenants in the building using something. And from our research, amongst other shared resource buildings in the States, and most of them are in the States, and there are only a dozen or so buildings up and running, that's looking good.
Exchange Square's electronic intelligence may not appeal to its larger tenants like IBM, which prefers its own computers, but it makes sense to a lot of other companies like Baring Securities, the building's first tenant. Baring, best known in history for having brokered the sale of the Louisiana Purchase, favors the idea of shared resources.
One of the most expensive things about starting any office is the machinery that you need in an office, whether it's a word processor, whether it's your PABX, telex machines, all this sort of stuff. And as a broker, we're essentially a cash business. What we didn't want to do is spend $500,000 or $1 million US up front getting all our machinery in place before we could start trading. And the advantage of going into an intelligent building, if you like, is that you don't actually have to pay for any of it up front.
In spite of the success of electronic plumbing at Exchange Square, some uncertainty remains, at least among the business users. Foremost among those concerns is security.
Inevitably, there always could be problems over security, although we've gone to great lengths to try and avoid any security problems. For instance, on the database computer system, each terminal is connected to a port, and the system has the passwords logged against that port, so that even if one tenant learns another tenant's password, he can't go back to his office and access the system through his terminal, because the system will say, this is the wrong password for this port, and reject it.
The mixed group of over 150 tenants at Exchange Square presents another challenge to the designers of intelligent buildings: how to provide companies with services that are individually suited to their business needs.
To find the common denominators for all the tenants is not going to be an easy task. But things like word processing, telecommunications, telex, fax, telephone, I would have thought be standard to practically everybody.
There are about 24 intelligent buildings around the world in addition to those here in Hong Kong, and some of them are in the United States. Wendy Woods has a report on one of them.
This is one of the few intelligent buildings in San Francisco. Computers here at the CityCorp Center can do just about everything but make coffee in the morning. They're continuously tracking the amount of electricity being used, adjusting air temperatures, reporting on the status of all the doors. Magnetic sensors tell if they're open, closed, or locked. They monitor the lights, turning them off and on at selected times. But the most important job is their management of the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems to cut energy usage and utility bills.
What the computer will do is it will monitor inside temperature and outside temperature, mix that with the desired temperature, distribute it efficiently and effectively as to where it's supposed to go, and will determine the minimum amount of energy required to either heat or cool that energy to desired levels.
And should a fire occur, the computers will pressurize the affected floor and those above and below it, purge the air, send the elevators down to the lobby, unlock the stairway doors, and turn on the sprinklers, all before the fire company arrives. There's only one drawback to intelligent buildings, and that is their cost. They can add 2 to 3% to the cost of construction, and that can add up to millions and millions of dollars, which is why intelligent buildings, while the wave of the future, are not necessarily the wave of the present. In San Francisco for the Computer Chronicles, I'm Wendy Woods.
Hong Kong's industrious energy is evident everywhere, from the bamboo scaffolding surrounding unfinished skyscrapers to the unending search for more efficient ways to house, feed, and transport the colony's 5 million inhabitants. Today, Hong Kong's status as a major financial and high-tech manufacturing center has placed it at the forefront of new applications of computer technology.
Automatic teller machines are one example of how banks have used computer technology to automate their operations. But ATMs are just the beginning of the intelligence built into this particular bank building.
The Hongkong and Shanghai Bank has moved into a formidable new headquarters designed by British architect Norman Foster and reputed to be the most expensive corporate headquarters building in the world. Although only a few blocks away from Hong Kong's other intelligent office building, it looks as if it could be on another planet. Its 47 stories sliced through an almost seamless skyline with a defiantly different profile.
This building has been designed to give flexibility. It's been designed to have an intelligence of its own in terms of its operation. It's been determined to be able to respond to legislation changes. So we have designed space to allow us to change with changes in technology. The underfloor spaces, because what we've basically done is we've taken the standard building and turned it upside down. The space that is normally occupied in the ceiling by all of your lighting, your transmission systems for your air conditioning, we've now got under the floor, apart from the lighting. We've made a fix of our ceiling. In the ceiling we have our fire detection, our fire protection, and our lighting.
Hong Kong Bank's external appearance reflects a lot about its internal design, uncompromisingly unconventional. The entry to the building is up an escalator that takes you through the curving glass belly of the lower floor, one flight above the street. The floors are suspended on pillars at each corner of the building, forming a kind of vertically stacked suspension bridge. The design permits entire new floors to be added simply by hanging them from the supporting masts. Instead of artificially lit corridors and confined offices, the lower floors are wide open, arranged around a 12-story high atrium. A computer-driven external reflector directs sunlight to 480 ceiling-mounted mirrors, bathing the interior with natural light. Almost everything in the building is visible: the offices, the escalators, even the circuit boards in the elevators.
Yeah, the architect likes everything that has to work to be visible. And the lift cars are one aspect in which people do travel around in the building and they can see how it works. They can also get messages. There's an LED message system within there that welcomes people into the building. It also gives them the Hang Seng Index in Hong Kong. And we can also put messages in the event of there being a problem. The lift car will land at level 1, please evacuate and move out of the building.
The building's flexible design can be seen in its modular utilities. Removable floor panels containing electrical outlets. Telephone and air conditioning ducts are interchangeable. No structural changes are needed to move an office. Lighting and ventilation are computer controlled, but if someone needs to work late, he need only enter the right code into the telephone keypad to turn his area lights on again. The bank's modular design extends to its computer services, which add building-wide electronic plumbing to the other utilities. An intelligent communications network includes phone sets that are coded to the individual. So if you move to another part of the building, take your telephone along. The system will automatically find it and forward your calls directly to that unit.
Well, I think modularity possibly is the key word. And also, in this intelligent building, I would like to say that decentralization is also another keyword. That means each floor, actually, you can have its own local area network, kind of shared resources within the same floor. So, in other words, you can add more networking facility, more resources on a modular basis.
The Hong Kong Bank's computer network extends around the building and around the world. The system handles everything from daily transactions and office automation to global communications. Through an electronic banking network called Hexagon, corporate customers have 24-hour access to the world's major financial markets.
Hexagon is our way of using technology to keep customers up to date with what's going on with their bank, what's going on in the markets around the world. If you look at it from another point of view, one doesn't need a branch network with a system such as Hexagon, because Hexagon delivers to the customer at his convenience all the banking services that we deliver him today in the traditional methods. who needs a branch network in 10, 15 years' time with a cashless society? You need to communicate with your bank to give them instructions, to get information out of them. Apart from that, cash? Who needs cash?
Hexagon is presently a special service for business clients, but the bank's goal is to use the same technology to make all operations more efficient. As in any other bank, security is a paramount concern. Computers are used to protect the bank and to protect themselves. To gain entry to the main computer room, you need more than a password or a magnetic card. The Operations Center is 100% redundant, and electronic data destined for outside terminals is encrypted before being sent. As for protecting the premises, the detection devices are elaborate.
We are polling 3,500 points every 2 minutes within the building. We have computer-controlled patrols through the building where people have to check in within a certain given time limit, otherwise a patrol has to go out to see how they have been affected or why they haven't reported in. We have a computer-controlled surveillance system which is selecting cameras right the way through the building back into a main control room to ensure that the whole of the building is being looked at any one time, because you couldn't bring all the amount of cameras that we have throughout the building back into a normal control room. People would lose the emphasis. So you are doing computer random checking in terms of movement through the building. Those cameras at night time turn into motion detectors. We can detect down to a mouse walking around. If the mouse smokes, we pick him up a bit quicker.
While much of the bank's business is conducted electronically, for messages that cannot be sent over wires, there is the next best thing: computer-controlled robots to deliver the mail. Lockable cars shuttle between floors on vertical tracks, making pre-assigned stops. Each rolling mailbox is programmable to go to a particular floor and to alert the receiver of incoming mail. While computers are used heavily in the daily operation of Hong Kong Bank, they were no less important in the design and testing of the structure well before it was built.
And we photographed the whole of Hong Kong. The computers then took that off and related that into a working model of Hong Kong. By the shadow angles, the time of the day, they worked out the heights of the building, and so they produced a model totally of Hong Kong. We could then get a computer analysis of the wind loading that would affect this building in its true state. The interesting relationship between those was the fact that the computer said that for a 1 in a 50-year storm, we would get wind speeds here of somewhere in the region of 100 miles an hour. In actual fact, Typhoon Ellen went through and we registered wind speeds of 93 miles an hour, so it was a very close relationship.
Even in a project as meticulously executed as this, not every problem can be anticipated or solved with a microprocessor. The placement of the lions at the building's entrance, as well as the placement of the 2 main escalators, was determined only after consultation with an expert in feng shui, the Chinese belief in the importance of man's harmony with nature.
Feng shui is a very important part. The positions of the escalators are critical. They are protection against the sea dragon. The entrance being lower than your exit. The actual positions of the lions, because they mustn't see each other, otherwise they fight and don't give you protection. Also within the building, the feng shui man had a role to play because he influenced in a way the very being of the building. He worked very closely, or the architects worked very closely with him, and so you've got a socially acceptable building as a result of it.
At $600 million, the Hong Kong Bank building is probably the most expensive ever built, although the owners expect to recoup the capital cost through the building's intelligent features. Still, the expense of electronic plumbing has so far restricted its use to only a small percentage of new office buildings.
At the moment, industries are mainly kind of targeting the business to get the communication and also information network up to the forefront of technology. But in the future, if the public wants to access such data network, it has to be cost effective.
A breakthrough to some observers, an extravagance to others, the Hong Kong Bank will undoubtedly remain the most daring intelligent building for some time to come.
random access file this week. ABC News is marketing the HyperCard stack that kept Peter Jennings on top of candidate information during the recent presidential campaign. The 3-disc stack sells for $295. It uses an interactive laser disc to recall candidate information and actual video footage. It is intended for the educational market. Users can even edit the video clips into the order they prefer by creating a playlist. The spreadsheet wars continue. Microsoft is offering a $75 rebate to Lotus 123 users who switch to Microsoft's Excel. To take advantage of the offer, you must send your 123 system disk to Microsoft. Corporate users will be happy to hear this one. February 1st, MCI Mail will be cutting prices. The 800 access number will be free. Instead of 10 cents a minute, short messages will go from $1 to 75 cents, and changes in fax pricing will net about a 22% savings on a 2-page fax. Also, monthly fees are being eliminated, and all users are being upgraded to advanced service status. Western Union has announced a new service called Office Access. This lets you transmit documents directly from your office system where they were created. The service offers hookups for fax, email, telex, mailgrams, and other services. Software is available for weighing systems now. It's expected in April for digital and IBM systems. The Reagan years saw a steady increase on government spending on computers and software, with the emphasis on financial management. Predictions are the Bush administration will spend less and concentrate on making existing systems more effective. Not much of that spending was for OS2, though. Government techies are giving it a big yawn. The principal reasons: the expense of extra memory requirements and the lack of application software. The main catalog computer system in the Library of Congress was struck by a virus last fall. The virus was noticed by staffers who logged onto the system and found they had substantially less memory space than they expected. It is suspected the virus entered the system through software obtained from a university. Fortunately, it was rooted out before any data files were damaged. The renewal of a 10-year U.S. technology agreement with China hit a snag on the issue of copyright protection for software. Chinese law makes no provision for copyrighting such materials, and they are not inclined to sign anything that leads in that direction. The Chinese contend that software exporters are protected by contracts with their buyers, a position sharply criticized by the U.S.-based Computer and Business Equipment Manufacturers Association. That's it for this week's Computer Chronicles. I'm Cynthia Steele.
The Computer Chronicles is made possible in part by McGraw-Hill, publishers of Byte Magazine, and Bix, the Byte Information Exchange. In print and online, Byte and Bix serve computer professionals worldwide with detailed information on new hardware, software, and technologies.
For a transcript of this week's Computer Chronicles, send $4 to PTV Publications, Post Office Box 701, Kent, Ohio 44240. Please indicate program date.